What up? We here. Y'all see the title, right? Is Math Hoffa getting hated on by podcasters? I don't have too many Math Hoffa related podcast episodes on my channel. Actually, I probably don't have any at all. My blogs that have been about math over the years has been pretty much related to battle rap, right? But as I got into the Sorry It's True podcast, I skipped almost all of Math Hoffa's topics, right? So for example, you don't see any blogs on my channel related to like the situation with old girl, right? I'm cool. When he had his big back and forth with Hassan Campbell, I'm cool. Um, some of the issues with some of the hosts, etc. I'm cool. Skipped all of those topics. There was the issue with or the audio that was, people were playing around with. I'm cool. I've said a million times on my podcast episodes as well. I said I wouldn't interview somebody like Charleston White. Why have I always said that? I've said it for like over a year. I said because he violated one of my homies' kids, Math Hoffa, right? So why do I choose to podcast about this particular topic, right? It interests me. It interests me because I feel like I can learn from it. I feel like math can learn from it. I feel like y'all can learn from it. And I feel like I could shed some light on some of the good as well as the bad, because it's mostly negativity that I'm seeing out there. And we're going to walk through a bunch of footage. I'm going to start this off with the Joe Budden audio, because I see a lot of people picking that up and saying Joe Budden versus Math Hoffa, and the Math Hoffa response to Joe Budden. I'm going to add context. We got a lot to break down, but let's start off.
Something happened with the barbershop where I guess he said something about the light bill was 7,000. He subbed. That's my man. Yo, stop, bro. Joe,
What are you laughing?
that's our friend, bro. 5 times, nigga, you trade ass nigga. You been on 5 times.
I love that show.
Me too. So what are you talking about?
Shows you love gotta go down sometimes. What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, I don't think it went down. I think that he's just trying to get in a new location.
Okay.
Cause you gave him till Friday. Oh, today is Friday. You came to Friday on Space. Yo, Friday.
Did you see the video he made?
I
Where
did
he
see
went
the
in the
video.
barbershop with the lights out and the flashlight and put the flashlight under his shit, and it was the light and he was telling his story like the boogeyman.
Yeah, I saw that. He was telling us why he would no longer be doing it at that particular shop, but he is looking to do it at other shops.
Yeah, we're gonna try to talk about Math on Patreon. Math is my man, so I don't have nothing to say. Hopefully he gets his shit together. Hopefully my expert opinion comes back. I know the
Shout out to Joe Budden, man. Mind you, people, I fuck with both of these guys heavy. I fuck with Math. Math's my nigga. And I'll definitely fuck with Joe. But Joe Budden definitely just hit a light switch. Like he was in clown mode, clown math mode. And then he just switched and got on a positive track. Let me say this real quick about podcaster space. Okay. I say this with the most humility ever. I've been blessed where the spaces that I've been in that were competitive, I didn't rely on. Okay. For example, if I relied on keeping these lights on right here, right, keeping this whole thing going right here with the money that I was making from Rare Breed Entertainment, it wouldn't have gone 10 years for multiple different reasons. Okay. We'll save that for another day. It's no different than the podcast world for me, right? The amount of views, the amount of monetization, if sponsors come in, the size of this podcast, it won't change whether these lights are on or not. And that is a blessing, okay? But you have people, let's be 1000% honest, that their first line of income, their biggest stream of revenue, the most important way that they feed their family could be like their podcast. Like, does academics make more money during the year than he makes from podcasting? That's his primary, right? Aiden Ross, Kai Sanat. A lot of people might look at Math Hoffa like that and say, well, that's your primary. You probably got other stuff going on. You're doing music, you're doing this, you're doing that, but your primary source of income is that. No different from Vlad. Like, do you have side ventures? Yes. Do you have stocks and bonds and all these other little side things with that can earn you money as well? Trap Lord Ross, he might do Patreon on the side, but the YouTube for many podcasters is the focal point. I say that to say this. That's why Joe Budden was well aware of what Queen's Flip was talking about, not because they prepped for the show, but because podcasters watch each other. Even when you rub shoulders and you're cool with somebody, it's no different than a lot of league owners in battle rap. Even though you rub shoulders with people, technically, if this is my primary, to a degree, you are either in the way or I can see myself getting more if you are subtracted. I'm not saying that's Joe Budden's position. I'm not saying that, right? But this is something this is a sorry it's true reality and statement, right? When people are in competitive fields in which it is their primary source of income, they're not going to go all out and go crazy if you are being subtracted from the space. In the back of their minds, it'd be more for me. Real shit.
Culturally, we love that show. A lot of iconic interviews happened on that show, myself included. I've been there mad times. Y'all know that Math is somebody we support up here, so hopefully he gets it together. We do not need the podcast game to lose one of our black podcast greats.
Nice speech. See, now we're going back to the real. That was a Joe. I'll fuck with Joe. That was his mellow out, pure. Stephen A. Smith does it all the fucking time. What he really wants to get to is coming second. Look, I'm gonna tell you one thing about LeBron James, man. Second best player of all time. Blah 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 blah. I love him. Scoring champ, title holder, and all this type of stuff. Is with championship. He learned how to be a leader, businessman, entrepreneur. Is a great father. Blah blah blah. But and then here it comes. The real thing that you want to say.
Yo, he can't. No, listen. Because Noah Flip is my man. He loyal to the soil, and I'm not. Oh, for sure, I'm not.
I'm like that with you too. I'm loyal.
Yeah, but I don't plan on getting down again.
Because you'll step on back.
So check on this. This is what I'm saying to y'all. This is not about Math for his situation. In life. All right.
Forget about the humble speech. Humble yourself.
That's it. In life, for me, I'm talking about me and indicators and things that I use as signs and ways to identify when I need to get the fuck away from people in the world.
Oh, no.
And one of those signs for me is when there's always a story. That's it. That was the punch. When you niggas see me at the bar for 10 years and every time I see you, it's a story about something going on in your life that involves a lot of words, I leave you and judge. I don't give a fuck if my cast is quiet right now. I don't care. That's the type of pod we on. Some of you niggas use too many words for me.
I got that from you. I say that to a lot of people now.
Honestly. But wait, I'm not saying that those people are wrong in what they're saying.
But it's just too much.
It's just too much. I don't care.
Well,
So Math is that for me. When he lost SO and them niggas, I ain't say nothing. But he did. And it was a lot of words. I wasn't that invested. And then my man, the supreme Muslim nigga.
You talking about
super Muslim. What's my man? You know, bigger. Shout out to Bigger. Was about to try to fight Smith and Wesson. I said, holy shit. I said, holy shit. Yo, Math show is golden. He about to fight Smith and Wesson. I almost had to fight one of them niggas in Cincy. I told y'all.
Nah.
Yeah. That's my man. Don't shout down now. I didn't say nothing in either, but he did, and it was a lot of work. And then Champ left. Y'all lips cool?
I don't know nothing about the show.
And then Champ left.
Don't put that camera on me. I'll fuck you up.
And it was a lot of words.
Okay. Let's get to the
Mecca game. I can drag this flat. I can do a whole body. All right, so we do it, Patreon. Okay. Y'all make it sound like y'all on the edge of your seat. Look, you about to fall again. Gravity again. Math is our man. We support him. But that old lease, I subleased the lease, and they talking about running a commercial business. Podcasters, black podcasters, I just fought over that term too. Let's get familiar with a commercial business and what it means in the eyes of the law.
Yeah, yes.
You seeing podcasters battle with the space they record, i.e. Adam, there's Math, there's me, there's niggas. It ain't cheap, it ain't free. Some of you niggas, I'm not talking about Math anymore, have skedaddled on the expenses. See how we pocket watch up here? Mm-hmm. We do that because shit is paid. I'm saying something, I forget it. I'm sorry. I got sleepers. Come on. All right, never mind. I got to sleep.
That's your bag.
I got to sleep.
That's how you segue out of shit. Yo, the expenses. Like, come on, stop it, bro.
I mean, I'm done.
We know the expenses is high, but what you make is higher, nigga. Just chill. These niggas not in a position like you.
Say something else. I'll blast your head off that fucking seat.
We know the expenses is high, and what you make is higher. These niggas are not like you. Repeat it again. You make more.
It's a trick in there.
It's no trick. You invest in the product, so you invest in the product, but you also, with that investment comes rewards.
Oh, shit.
I pay Woody. You talking about the push talk nigga? That's what you talking about?
Pay the guys.
I pay them niggas.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Stop listening to my spaces. So you,
no, honestly, I'm joking around with Flip, but paying people don't feel good all the time.
No, if you know, paying people don't feel
seriously,
good.
in the music business.
No,
I'm not trying to talk about you.
Now let me just say this, nigga.
No, you're not in the music business, but I'm very serious when I say people look to get over on the payment
business
system.
though. You gotta pay people. You gotta pay your staff. You gotta pay your whomever. And I honestly, even though that shit,
some people think good business is figuring out who would be okay to not pay.
Donald Trump. But what I'm saying is,
everybody deserves to get paid. I think it's value to me.
And I feel good when I make my payroll.
Same.
I feel good when I make my payroll. It's times that I've made pay.
I'm gonna pause it right there. So what I take from a lot of that last piece, because the topics are relevant, that the Joe Budden podcast is extremely great at what they do. Everybody up there is pretty intelligent, and definitely entertaining. Shout out to everybody up there, 100%. Ish, Ice, Flip, Joe. But now moving into that, the payment piece of it, they're pretty much, in my eyes, my interpretation, correlating that to people that have come out prior from the Math Hoffa podcast and talked about money issues. And then once again, when Math comes out and he puts it out there talking about the barbershop, pretty much we're talking about money issues. We hear 7,000, we hear light bill stuff, we hear, right? So I see the correlation that they're making. And it is true in a world of business, the boss always gets paid in correct business. And this, I'm not saying that this has anything to do with, math situation, right? But I'm saying it's 1000% true. I run an event, the production crew, the venue, the security, the DJ, the pay-per-view providers, all the battle rappers, they get paid. What's left is what I get paid. Okay. The bosses always get paid last. Ish is right. When you make payroll, it does feel good. Payroll comes first. All right. You can't have a bunch of people sitting in a restaurant that's not getting paid while the boss is just collecting the check. It doesn't work that way. Now, I know a lot of people might be watching this stream saying Math Hoffa is ARP's homie. I wonder what direction he's going to go in. Is he going to sit up here and just try to gloss over all of this? Hang around. We got a bunch more to go through. But before we get there, I want to pull up Math's response. Now, this is not a Math-inspired stream. This is a me-inspired stream. And I'm not going to try to speak for the man. And I'm also not going to say that this response right here is 1000% directed towards Joe Budden. I think there's a lot of people on the internet right now talking negatively in Math Hoffa's direction. But this video did come after the Joe Budden podcast one. So in general, let's see what Matt is saying.
I know I see a lot of y'all telling me to chill. I'm not chilling. I'm not chilling. I'm not chilling. Just pull up to the Apollo. Pull up to the Apollo, have your camera out. I'm gonna have a verse for these niggas. I'm gonna talk about all this shit because it's too much hate in New York, period. It's too much hate, bro. It's too much hate. Like, how you hating on the next man? You see a nigga do something incredible. A nigga create something wonderful for the culture. And you just sitting around waiting for the demise just so you can flap your fucking lips, bro. Like a lot of these niggas don't be outside. They don't be outside. They just be online hating for a living. And they wonder why they never got no place. Why did he get 1 million subscribers? How did he get there? Why is everybody pulling up to talk to him? You know what I mean? Like, that shit is crazy to me. That shit is crazy to me. And there's a part of me that's like, there's the old side of me that's like, how dare you even open your mouth and speak my name? How dare you? How dare you? You niggas got some audacity. Like, get to at least a quarter of where I got to before you start talking. Get at least halfway, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, get somewhere. Get somewhere. Get somewhere. The nerve of these niggas. The nerve.
I've been trying to be quiet this whole time because there was a bunch of points that bounce into my mind as I'm listening to Math. Okay, so here goes some teaching moments for everybody, for Math, for me, for y'all. Okay, let's start with the hate, and I got some other videos to get deeper into the hate of what Math Hoffa is claiming. Let's talk about the hate. Is Math Hoffa getting some hate on the internet? 1000% he is. Is he getting some justified response on the internet? 1000% he is, right? I do absolutely wholeheartedly disagree with Matt's take there about get something or get 20% of what I have or get somewhere before you speak in my direction. Teachable moment for all of us. That is not a good way to approach life, right? I've said many times, the homeless man on the corner can teach you how to avoid being where he is. Now, I have what I have. I've earned what I've earned. I've achieved what I've achieved, right? That man doesn't have 0.5% of what I have, but I promise you I would listen to his story. I promise you I would listen to his feedback. You have to decipher hate from criticism from people that are trying to help. Okay, you have to decipher that. And sometimes help happens in private, sometimes help happens in public. Pay attention. Okay. RBE, for example. Matter of fact, scratch RBE, the Sorry It's True podcast, for example. I've made so many changes right in front of y'all faces, whether you realize it or not, based on you guys' feedback over like the last year. The intros, the topics, the timing, some of the stuff I speak about. I'm very geared towards what interests me, but at the same time, you guys are the ones that push me up. This podcast only gets as big as the following, as the chat, as the people that share and like and comment and rock with these videos and say, this is good content or this is an interesting podcast. You guys are my ceiling, 100%. So when I see a bunch of comments early last year about the intro, being long, it's not coincidence that the intro is now moved to the end and that's where we close out. It's not coincidence. You see what I'm saying? So it's not about watching feedback that I feel like, who are you? You're just a fan watching me or a supporter watching me, or you're just a YouTube person watching me for content, your daily news. So your opinion, it's not about that, right? If you walk into a restaurant and 5 people are telling you that, yo, the fucking French fries are shit, you might want to go into the kitchen and holler at your chef. That's how it goes when you're dealing with the consumer base, okay? And you always have to pay attention to feedback. It can't be about this podcaster or that podcaster didn't reach my levels. This person doesn't have 500 or a million subscribers. This person is a bum on the street, so why the fuck would I listen to him? I always thought that was a very ignorant mentality. Like, there's songs about that. You can't tell me nothing. If you don't got what I got, you can't. Nah, that's not a good mentality. But let's continue. There's some other points I'm going to take from this.
Some of these niggas can't even show their face on camera. And I know y'all like, yo, what you bugging on Hassan, this, that, and the third. Like I said, man, there's certain things that I stand for. There's certain things that I just do not agree with. And me and son, we don't gotta have no problems or nothing like that or whatever. But I'm gonna keep my distance. I ain't gonna talk about you. If I see shit going on with you, like I seen this shit going on with you and Mano, this, that, and the third, I'm not chiming in. I'm not talking about you. I'm leaving it completely alone. Because I don't feel like I need to comment on you or nothing to fuel my success. I don't need to do that. So when I see videos still going up where you commenting, you saying certain shit, knowing that you pretty much violated. You enter the zone that you can't come back from, bro. You feel me? And then to see you copping please with it, I ain't even gonna go there. I'm not even gonna talk about that. But like when I say, yo, I'm done, I'm done. Made my little record. I'm sure y'all heard it. Made my little record. And that was it for me. You feel me? Because I don't feel like I need to comment on you for success. I don't need to make $1 off of you. That's just me. My focus be on what can I do? What's the next thing that I could do? You feel me?
Newsflash for everybody. Hassan Campbell is not going to refrain from doing content that's about Math Hoffa, especially if he feels like he's watching Math Hoffa's downfall. These guys, like Math said, he's gone to a place that he can't return from. These guys, for lack of better words, are enemies. They don't fuck with each other. They never will fuck with each other again. They both would, whether they say it publicly or not, would enjoy the downfall of each other, right? Based on what they've gone through. Okay, Hassan Campbell is not going to stop talking about Math Hoffa. And Math Hoffa snuck that little shot in saying, I don't need to talk about you to make money. You know, Hassan's channel will still make money if he doesn't have math content. And that'll like lead into like a point that I can make by myself. I don't need math content or any content. I have an opinion that I think can help certain people. It doesn't even have to be helpful to math. It could help somebody in the chat. You know what I'm saying? So it's not always about somebody making money, right? I've obviously scratched all that content related to math that I was talking about earlier in the stream. And even today, I could have cut the stream on and I could, you guys know me by now, my personality. I does this live. I'm not scripted. I don't need to calculate all of this. My mind is moving a mile a minute right now about what I'm going to say a split second from now. That's why I reference all this shit when I'm making points live with you guys. Okay, I could have woke up this morning and said, okay, look at Sean Kingston. We're going to get into that in a second too. But I could take a topic like that and make it 3 minutes, or I can make it 30 minutes. I can take Diddy hiring Brian Steele, and I can make that 2 minutes, or I can make it 25 minutes. I don't need to do this live, right? I do stuff like this. If you guys haven't realized, and Math knows, he's really been around me. He really, really knows me. You know what I'm saying? Math knows I don't have to do this fucking live. So then what's my intention then?
It just be a bunch of niggas that never got nowhere. Nowhere. Niggas that made all the bad decisions. Niggas that made all the worst decisions, sitting around criticizing everybody else's life. That shit is crazy. It's crazy. Like, who the fuck are you niggas? The niggas that you be talking about that's in a bad position, they still in a better position than the niggas that's talking. That's crazy. Like, who would want to live your life? Who would want to live you niggas' lives? Who? What have you done? What have you achieved? What's your bragging rights? You ain't never, and niggas talking about, oh, he blew all his money on it. Nigga, you never shot the way I shot. You couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. You never been where I've been. And whatever. I'm not even. No. Niggas need to hear this. Niggas need to hear this. If you haven't accomplished in your life anything to be able to talk about certain people, like, why do you feel so privileged to do it? Like, niggas ain't never even left the continent.
Real quick too. Let me put this on the big screen. Saturday, the 26th at 8 p.m. the Lyricist Lounge. Ghostface got a show. Featuring Capadonna, Inspector Deck. The Woo is on there. Scram Jones is on there. Graph is on there. Math Hoffa is on there. This is at the Apollo. And I know that this is a dope opportunity for Math as well. He's been doing music his whole life. So if you're in New York, you guys need to take a look at this show. Pull up on this show. All right. I'm pulling a Math right now, taking controversial opportunities to promote. I got more that we're gonna go through, people. Here's a thing that I think is good for a lot of people, based on their personalities, right? Especially when you get a little bit older. We become who we are. There's ways where you can, round out the edges when you get to a certain place in life. You can learn new things. You can stop certain things. All right, I'm 48 years old. I'm finally gonna stop smoking. You know what I'm saying? Like, that can happen. You can continue to evolve. The best thing to do is evolve until you die. You know what I'm saying? Keep learning, keep progressing, keep trying to, change areas in your life for the better, obviously, right? But my personality at this point in life, at the core, I am who I am. Math Hoffa, at his point in life, at the core, he is who he is. I think Math Hoffa, one thing that could benefit him and sometimes other people that have the type of personality that Math has is a successful alpha male that he could bounce questions off of or advise at times. I think that that would be very healthy for, and some of you guys in the chat as well. If you are that type of personality, believe me, it is helpful. I have people around me, I'm older than them, I'm more successful than them. They realize the credibility and the genuine nature of me. I got a lot of people around me like this, as a matter of fact, and they have no problem coming to me and asking me for advice. It could be league owners, it could be battle rappers, it could be best friends, it could be family. They have no problem and Math, until he breaks that mentality of who can give him an opinion, right? The same way his girl collabed in off camera. I think that was his lady. Shout out to her. Hey, chill out, don't do that. No, fuck that. They need to hear this. He needs somebody that I don't want to say looks up to, because Math is too old to look up to somebody. I don't think that's his personality. But in that kind of respect, he needs somebody that he looks up to a little bit and say, should I say this? Should I do this? Should I fire this person? Should I address this? And I think that type of opinion would help. You know what I mean? I really do. And people, I say that in a bigger picture, to never be afraid to ask people questions, right? Never be afraid to bounce ideas off of each other. I do it too. It could be somebody with more than me or less than me. Hey man, what you think if I really started this or did that or whatever? Hey, don't do that shit. That shit don't make no sense. Hey, I might listen, I might not, but I'm gonna listen. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I think you should do that shit. Damn, I'm glad he gave me. I wasn't even thinking about that. We got the most humble people in the world, man. They're the best listeners. And then they have to have the strength to decipher, okay, I'm gonna take this piece, I'm gonna take this piece, I'm gonna take this piece, and then I'm gonna go. That piece I'm gonna leave behind. That is there's so many pieces to the success formula, and your character comes into play. Now, getting back to Math, and is he getting hated on the internet? Like I said, 1000% from different places he is. But has he earned it? And what's some of the things he would need to respond to as far as his next set of actions? I'll get to that in a second. But if I pull up YouTube and all I search right here, you can see it here. I just searched Math Hoffa, right? And I think I set the filter to maybe today or whatever, right? It's funny. Math and Joe comes up here. Okay. This is Math Hoffa's video right here. Math Hoffa gets heated response incoming. Even battle rap bloggers. Look, Math Hoffa drops the ball again, shaking my head. He put the word again there, okay? So he's saying that this is a pattern, but that's Angry Fan. Math Hoffa, the man, the math ain't mathin'. What happened to MEO? Okay, shorts. Hassan Campbell, of course. Is this the end? I don't know what this is. Sub-Zero. Math Hoffa is finished, okay? Shout out to Doggy Diamonds. Doggy Diamonds got Math Hoffa. Let me talk to you about accountability. You need to hear this. And he put a line over his face. Doggy Diamonds, well respected, man. I fuck with Doggy. Shout out to Doggy. The Angry Man. I'm familiar with his content. Why Adam 22 and Math Hoffa's podcast crashed. Okay. Fat Joe warned Math Hoffa, now it's over. That's from Choke No Joke. And it just keeps going and going and going and going and going. Right? It just keeps going. Look at this. No jumping, Math Hoffa, bankrupt, end of podcasting. Let me interject this real quick as I'm making this particular point. Math is not financially fucked up, right? When you have your primary source of income might be YouTube, right? He still has a 1 million subscriber channel. Okay. Technically, he should be able to just relocate and pick up where he left off, right? Or transition to something else. I spoke with Math this past Saturday. He was sitting under some palm trees. I text him, like, hey man, keep pushing. It's all good. He texted me back a picture of him sitting under some palm trees, sipping some fucking cooler or some shit. You know what I'm saying? A little wine cooler or something. Then we got on the phone, we was chopping and talking about the situation, all that. Math is fine. He just needs a new location. You know what I'm saying? And it happens. Okay. So as far as the hate, let's start moving to like what Doggy Diamonds pointed out, because now this is what you guys are curious. Is ARP going to continue in a lane of keeping it 1,000 though? Or else don't even cut the fucking camera on ARP. So I went to Chick's channel. and I searched Math on his channel because, you know, chicks be up with a lot of sound bites. And when I scroll down, Math Hoffa shows Space Ghost the text messages, Space Ghost him while trying to pay him and get his equipment. Okay, Space Ghost. Math Hoffa speaks about his podcast breakup, and he reveals they tried to extort him. Okay. Math Hoffa responds to Esco accusations of keeping their $2.7 million deal all to himself. Styles P snaps at Math Hoffa and Jay Hood for claiming they owed him money. Math Hoffa dismisses Sean Bigger from his My Expert Opinion podcast. Math Hoffa heated exchange with China Mac after being called out for asking Troy Ave about his open case. Boosie runs into Math. Okay. DJ Academics responds to Math Hoffa and China Mac calling him out for supporting Charleston White. Math Hoffa responds to Joe Budden and Nori dissing failing podcast rappers. Okay. More China Mac and Math. Okay. All right. Serious Jones stuff. Math Hoffa sends scary message to Charleston White. Joe Budden pulls up Math Hoffa to investigate why he fired Esso and Heineken. You know, like, this is a lot. Maul checks Math Hoffa for sneak dissing him. The point that I'm making right now is this is what people I'm going to get into two issues. All right. Two issues that Math is facing a lot. You see people's titles. You see Doggy Diamond's video. You see the way Math responds to when he has issues or disagreements with people. The accountability thing is going to be something that they attach to Math forever. Why? Because people feel like they just have yet to ever hear him say, I was wrong, right? There's always an explanation. And now, granted, I'm sure if you take 50 situations, Math is right in a bunch of them. For all I know, half. For all I know, 75%. It could be right in a lot of them. But the public presentation is the issue. And Math, you need to learn that piece. You need to learn that because your image, your perception is the only thing that's going to be carried. What you know and your ex-host know behind the scenes, that's private. You know, you could explain it as well as possible, but these situations and the granular details, you're privy to them. But all of this other stuff, as far as the public perception, all they see is a trail. All they see is a continued this person, now this person, now that person, now that situation, now this situation. That's all they see. That's all they see. And Math takes a very strong stance in everything. It's always, nah, you know what I'm saying? It's his presentation, it's his personality, it's the way he talks, it's his energy. You know what I'm saying? If you look even in battle rap, where most of us met Math Hoffa, right? The Dose situation. Okay, it's like, all right, well, technically, you know, if I'm who I say I am, the same way Dose says that he says he is, if you backing up and you peeling off your vest saying, what, nigga? I'm gonna pop first, right? So there's justification. You look at the Serious Jones situation, you know, they're gonna say, you know, Math is gonna say, you know, the venue, they had us there till 3 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't eat, and then the security guard disrespected me and all this type of stuff, and me and Serious, we don't really like each other, and all disaster. You know, there's all this different stuff where sometimes you just gotta say, I was wrong, I fucked up. I gotta walk those same shoes. Once upon a time, the video is still on my channel. I accused Black Ice Cartel of something that somebody that had credibility through the roof told me. One of my closest homies from battle rap told me something. I said, okay. I accused them of something because of the nature of their relationship with Clean Paper. This is when the Clean Paper and Jim's battle didn't happen the first time. And I got on the phone with John Doe and he said, man, if there's no proof, you know, that's wrong, right? I went back to my source and I said, go get me that proof. My source went to his source and all of a sudden his source pulled away. So by the time it comes back to me, it could have been right, it could have been wrong, but I don't hold the proof I don't hold the proof. So I cut on the camera and said, I apologize. Doesn't make me pussy, doesn't make me less of a league owner. I said, I apologize. Okay. I had another one. What was it, like 2 years ago with Swave. Now, I could explain a million reasons why I'm in the right. Actually, I'll try it right now. The nature between me and some certain companies and the documentation and the proof publicly and privately that I have about attempts to quander media's coverage of RBE, it is a fact. I have the proof publicly and privately. And in this one scenario, somebody tried to, while Swave was doing an RBE-based question interview, right? Now, when I get that call from Swave, I can say, nigga, I was minding my business. You called me complaining. I stuck up for you in my response video. And I stuck up for me. And I stuck up for the way that battle rap is. And media is supposed to be able to ask whatever fucking questions that they do. And I could have stood on that going forward forever. And been like, yo, Swave, you gonna have to ride with that too. Because nigga, you called me and I rode out. No, media shouldn't. I don't have a problem with Uncle Ron. You come around and y'all ask questions about other. No, we're not doing that. I could have stood firm on that. Got to a place where I just said, it's cool. Me and those other issues, that's going to be what it's going to be. Swave, I apologize to you because publicly, I didn't have to put the situation out there. I did in the middle of an interview when I was getting asked and confronted about, do you put stuff that's not true? And I said, it just happened. And then I said it, right? But I didn't have to. I was frustrated. But I ended up giving Swave Seva a public apology for it, right? Whether I'm justified in my actions or not. And people respect that. You know, Math needs more of that. And that's why people kill him with that accountability angle. Math could be right in so many situations, but now's not the time to cut on a camera and start barking. Now's not the time to say, watch, I'm going to drop this song at Apollo and respond to all of y'all. You're fighting the whole internet at this point. You know, just right now is the time to show humility, go get a new location, drop some good content. That's it. You can't beat the internet. You know, and that's one of the biggest things. On a lighter side, one of the smaller things that I'm seeing Math face is it's not even a big deal. It's the structure of things. And I started earlier saying that none of us are above getting criticism. And I've changed my podcast over the last year, whether you guys know it or not, in many respects, based on your criticism and feedback. Like his music at the beginning, okay? Everybody, you're forcing it on us. You're forcing on us. You're forcing on us. Math can be giving you classic music at the front, but he needs to listen to his consumer base. Guess what? ARP isn't just talking out of his ass. I went through the same, right? I could practice what I preach. I could tell you like, yo, sometimes it's good to apologize and show you, oh, I did it. Oh, damn. Sometimes it's good to change. Oh, I did it. Here's an example of it, right? Let me go old school RBE, right? Who remembers the format of old school RBE? Let's get nostalgic for a quick 2 minutes. All right. Okay. Promotion, RBE Visions. Promotion. I don't know what's up with that song. Fast forward. I don't know what's up with this song on YouTube. Let me fast forward. This was the event intro now. So you started with our logo graphic intro. Then you moved into a whole segment of promotion, our promotion, as well as another artist promotion. Now you move into the event intro where we do clips of all the battles that took place at that particular event. How dope is that? Fade into black with Show Off walking into the shadows. Guess what? Ask who edited that footage. I was all right. Okay. So we did our company intro. We did promotion spots. Then we did the event intro. Then we went into the battler warm-up graphic of the battle that was taking place in that particular video that you just click play on. Watch this. I don't know, man. Your resume might not be complete unless you got one of these online. I don't know. But let me close out the point. And I edited all of this. Now, we are now at the 420 mark before you get to the footage of the battle. And
nobody can beat the
almost 450 in before you hear a single rapped bar. Okay? Now, look at the comments that I brought up on the screen. Y'all are helping me make my point. Everybody's saying vintage. This was dope. This was fire. Crazy edit. Crazy intro. I'm seeing all of this, look, in the chat. Now, look at this. Peak era of battle rap. Yeah, ARP, you got to come back. So everybody's watching what I just played, and everybody appreciates it, respects it. Now, back then, when I was editing this shit, I was scratching my head with a bunch of comments saying, the intro's too long. We don't need all of this. I don't care about the battle is warming up. Forget the event intro. I click play. Where's the raps? And I'm scratching my head like, I'm actually overworking. I'm doing more work. I don't need to have these battlers come up in the VIP room and do their warm-up footage for y'all in the mirror and face the camera and do all these extra shots and edit that up just so I could put that type of footage for y'all and that exclusive piece of content in the. I don't need to do all of that shit, but I am. And y'all are trashing RBE for it. Do y'all not remember that? Trashing us for it. So what did I do? I stopped it. I listened to y'all, even though I thought my idea was better than the feedback I was getting. You have to listen to your consumer base sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And Math needs to just take advice, whether in privately from somebody that he respects, sometimes publicly as well. Math, you can't always have, even if they're valid, justifications for everything across the board. That's where they're going to just keep using the word accountability. And the changes of what people want from your platform, sometimes you just have to appease the customer. You know what I'm saying? Like me and Math, you want some more nostalgia? Me and Math got into it before online. We was texting and calling each other behind the scenes about this, but we had our fun too.
Math in that Hulk mode, like, you notice me staring in the camera, giving me that lens, eye-to-eye contact. You know what I'm saying? Damn, yo, ARP, if you fuck this up, if you're not, bro, I'm going to personally, on camera, curse ARP the fuck out.
I watched the video. I respect the Hulk's opinions. But you know what they say about opinions, right? So now it's my turn.
This is back in the day when he used to say, you don't want an ARP blog. It's not about me no more. Now it's 1090 Jake and Trap Lord Ross.
Yes, sir. RBE presents Rare Breeds going down August 18th, Club Drum. If you do not have a ticket yet, get one. This is going to feel like a VIP event. Like, there's going to be a lot of who's who people in the building, crazy media outlets, celebrities in the building. The return after 4+ years, Murder Mook back to battle rap. versus the Midwest legend Aver. King Los will be stepping in the ring on the same card. He's got Daylight. Those two guys will be
Be clear, Math. I'm playing this to show that the history online is that you've gotten people too, including me.
aiming to create top 10 bar-for-bar battles of all time. But Mr. Hulk Hoffa, by the time we got to only
Hulk
our
Hoffa.
third announcement on the card, it has nothing to do with you not being on the card.
Verb versus Mook. This should be a showcase of the family. I can name at least 15 to 20 names that deserve to be on that card other than you, bro. You want to know why? Because it's on the card where real battle rappers are missing from it.
Are you sure this doesn't even have a little bit to do with your hate towards industry battlers being able to be booked in battle rap?
20 million views.
20 million views.
French Montana, Diddy, Red Cafe.
We're going after the man's Twitter to see if he's verified. What?
I'm just making the point with it. So, in conclusion, there, people, there is some hate online, but some of it is we overuse the word hate. Okay, sometimes a bunch of people could just be trying to tell you something, and if you disagree with it, that doesn't make it hate. Some is and some isn't. You know, some is some genuine advice out there. You know, if I was hating on Math, for example, the vibe of this video would be so different. I'd be trying to dispute all his accusations or his responses to his accusations. I'd be pulling up all his hit. This isn't about that. Sometimes you just got to have a teachable moment. And I know Math, you know, as for his own words, sometimes he's not listening but Math knows the levels that I've achieved. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I don't show it much, but you got to listen to people that you have respect for sometimes. And if you don't, you know, you continue on your trend, and then the history of it continues. And then people only classify that as being hard-headed. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Math, man, and shout out to Joe Budden as well. Everybody tune into the Apollo joint once again. And Math, get your new location, come back and crush. Okay. I got some quick news to jump to real quick. What do we got? Y'all seen it? Checks and Balances put me onto this last night in our chat. Really? How many times have I used the term dream team with some of these big cases? All right. Diddy adds Young Thug's YSL RICO trial lawyer Brian Steele to legal team in federal sex trafficking RICO case. Wow. In a shocking turn of events, Diddy is beefing up his criminal defense team and adding Young Thug's YSL RICO trial lawyer Brian Steele to his federal sex trafficking RICO case in Manhattan, New York. Before the news, TMZ first reported that Diddy-born Sean Combs was searching for a black female attorney to join his current trial team of Mark, whoever that is, and Tenny, whoever that is. In February, attorney Anthony Rico, well, that's an interesting name, ditched the team ahead of, I remember him, ditched the team ahead of Diddy's May 5th trial. Now, there was a lot of talk about that. It's just like, if I'm on the team and I quit, I just remove myself, then what does that mean? What do the lawyers see? He's just like, I can't do it. This is a devil's advocate in the bathroom moment right here. I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? On Tuesday, April 15th, though, Brian Steele, who represented Atlanta rapper Young Thug, once again, was filed a motion for admission in Diddy's federal sex trafficking and racketeering case in New York. Yeah, we know the backdrop of Brian Steele. He made himself super famous for anybody that didn't know him. He was willing to go sit down next to Thug in jail behind not snitching. I want to know, Judge, that on his heels. I want to know how you figured that out. How'd you know about that conversation? How'd you know? Listen, I ain't telling you, Judge. How you this is he's a lawyer. This is what he practices. You know, this is his license on the line and all his reputation, his credibility, the way he earns a living, all of that. And the judge looking in his eyes a million times saying, if you don't tell me, there's going to be repercussions. He's like, I ain't telling you, bitch. Brian Steele is the truth, man. Is the truth. Hey, shout out to Cal Capone too. I'm gonna grab that super in 1 second, homie. I got you. But I mean, so if initially he was sorting out a black female, I think that's imagery. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you have sex trafficking allegations, that you possibly now he got a bunch of John Does that have come out and men, but you know, I think it's the man woman thing that always hits a little bit harder. It's just a perception, it's an image that's just like, we watched that tape and that video in that hallway with Cassidy. It's like, you can't get from underneath that. You know what I'm saying? So when you have a female getting up there and arguing on your behalf passionately, imagery, the type of people, even the culture and the nationalities people. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're Kanye West and you end up in court behind disrespecting Jewish people, and then you got a whole bunch of lawyers that are Jewish, it looks okay, right? That's like, you see how sometimes white people get into it. They be like, I have a lot of black friends, right? It's imagery, man. So I get why he was going after a woman, right? A black woman at that too. But Brian Steele coming over, I think what we've seen from his, I don't know if Brian Steele did a majority of the actual investigative work. What I mean by the investigative work, these lawyers behind the scenes, they got people that's in the field doing homework, doing research, gathering information, doing paperwork, whatever. And maybe you're good at collecting information, but I'm good at putting or connecting the dots of the information. Or maybe this person is good at collecting the information. This person is good at connecting the dots of what we have in front of us, putting a puzzle together. This person is great at presenting it in court. You know what I'm saying? Because even the way you communicate, the way you drive certain points home, Brian Steele covered. So I don't know the other pieces, like how in depth he was and all the other stuff that happens behind the scenes. But I know one thing he can do. He can get in that courtroom and perform. And he can perform with great points. He can debate with the best of them. So that's a win. I've been saying for a couple months now, I initially had it at 50-50 that Diddy will get off. About 2 weeks ago, y'all saw on stream, I moved that to 55-45, 55 in his favor. Brian Steele joining. I want to hear a statement. Before I move to 60-40, 60% chance that I think he's going to get off. Before I move the needle up again, I want to hear a public statement from Brian Steele. I want to see him get on camera on TMZ or something like that and say, yeah, the reason I joined this case is because what they're doing to this man is atrocious. This is ridiculous. I want to see his passion to why he took this case, because he's a public figure at this point in the legal system. So I wouldn't be surprised if we hear something from the man. You know what I mean? So before I move the needle again, let's see. Real quick before I get to this last piece of news that I want to talk about, Cal Capone. Before I go into work, Sharon and Trez chant will always go down in history. That's dope, homie. You know what I heard this past weekend when I was watching the TBL event, the Daylight versus Rum Nitty. Chilla Jones up on the mic. He started I heard him TB. I heard the crowd chant TBL. That is the first league I've ever heard that I remember have their league name chanted outside of RBE. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to TBL. You know what I'm saying? It's always dope when because the crowd does that out of appreciation. Like, wow, this moment is incredible, or what this company is delivering, or what they put together is incredible, or this matchup or that last round was incredible. And to sit there and max out and just listen to a crowd just start chanting RBE, it is one of the most humbling and dopest feelings I've had in my life. You know what I'm saying? And of course, in the smaller room arenas as well, like you mentioned, like a Trez versus Sharon, to stand up there and see that this is an absolute timeless classic these guys are delivering, and then the crowd to just say, man, thank you. RBE. It's just me, I'm like, damn, this is what it's worth. I don't even know how much money I'm going to make tonight, but this right here, this makes it worth it. Like, it's dope, man. It's dope. All right. Last quick piece of news. Actually, this wasn't the last one. I got two more. I want to go to Sean Kingston real quick. Let's pull up Sean Kingston. I saw an update with his case on, was it Hollywood Unlock's Instagram? Where is it? Here it is right here. Okay, cool. So Sean Kingston manages to finally post $100K bond after Fed scooped him back up for failing to pay cash bond upon wire fraud conviction. Now let's read some of the caption first. After being remanded to federal custody for failing to pay his $100K cash bond, Sean Kingston has managed to pay in full and is back on home detention. As previously shared, the 35-year-old singer was born Kingston Paul Anderson, and his mother, Janice Turner, 62 years old, were both accused of defrauding businesses out of more than $1 million in a fraud scheme since October 2023. In May 2024, feds raided Kingston's Florida mansion and arrested his mother. She's 62 years old. She got arrested behind this shit. Hours later, he was arrested. The alleged scam involved $480,000 in jewelry, $160,000 Cadillac Escalade, a luxury micro LED TV, Jesus, and other high-priced goods. Federal prosecutors claim they falsely claimed to send money transfers to pay for luxury goods, but kept the items even after businesses learned the payments never cleared. Turner previously pled guilty in 2006 to bank fraud and served about 10 months in prison. In this case, in August 2024, the duo pleaded not guilty, and on March 28, 2025, a jury convicted them on all 5 charges involving wire fraud and conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Jamaican-born Turner, deemed a flight risk, was taken into custody, and Kingston was ordered to home detention upon posting a $100,000 bail. Wow. Let me have my first statement, which is going to lead me into my point. My first statement to that is, did y'all see on the internet how much it was, backlash and like, oh, Sean Kingston, you didn't have $100,000 bond to put up, like, what's going on, you broke nigga? Now, just take that thought that is so rampant on the internet and let's fold that into the damn accusations, which is my bigger picture here. What the fuck you think he's scamming for in the first place? Okay? Newsflash, people. You're a celebrity. Your amount of videos, all these shows that you've done, the albums that you've had on shelf, the cool factor that you have had, the women we've seen you running around with, the big jewelry we might have seen you with, which might not have even been real, the watches, the cars. How much of the industry is fake? Number one, I'm not saying Sean Kingston never had it, but how much of the industry is fake? Just the presentation of it, the fake jewelry, the cars you don't own, the rented cars, the houses that aren't yours neither. We're shooting a video here, people. Doesn't mean that I own this crib. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is all the image. Like, if I'm a record label, what the fuck you think what type of picture you think I'm gonna paint? The lavish lifestyle that everybody wants to have. And when you see it, you get so enthralled in it. It's just like, oh, look at Sean Kingston with all these bad women and the diamond watch he put up and all. Like, wow, I want to be that. And that's the sale. Now, some of these rappers actually do have it. I really do believe that there was a point in Sean Kingston's career where he actually had it. But that was then. This is now. The little babies of the world, they want to denounce 4PF. Why? Because he's looking at his forecast. He's looking at the amount of money he makes. He's probably looking at the money he's already saved up, the investments he's made, the real estate he's already bought that's already paid off, and said, you know what? At least for my lifetime and maybe my kid's lifetime, I'm kind of set with the money I already have and the money I'm still making. I think Little Baby has been the way he answered about his jewelry one time. He was just like, you might see me spend a quarter on jewelry, not knowing that I just picked up 500, yesterday, I will today, and I will tomorrow. So I'm not showing it all. Like, I think as much as y'all want to say that Lil Baby is stupid, I don't think 20 years from or 15 years from now, or even 10 years from now, we're going to say, yo, Lil Baby is broke. I think he's kind of smart with his money. I think he's okay. And he's making so much of it. Sean Kingston, whether he was making it for a period of time or not, people, we've made the point here on this channel before saying, how long do you want to live? If you say you want to live till 60 and you are now 30, you have another half of your life to live. At what point do you believe that what you are doing today or what you already have or the road that you are sustaining is going to make sure that by the time you are into your 50s or your 40s or your late 30s, you're going to still be popping. You're going to still be comfortable. You're still going to be financially stable. The man is being accused of scheming things like TVs. Okay? Let go of the Sean Kingston of old. If I'm scamming TVs with my mother, I'm having a financial fucking issue. Okay, people? So this is about diversifying your. I just had this conversation last night. Shout out to my man Goods. I was on the phone last night with my man Goods talking the same type of shit that me and him be talking. Yeah, I mean, diversifying your portfolio, not overspending, planning for the long run, not the short. This is how you try to stay out of being somebody that had it. And then you look at them 5 years from now, and you're like, damn, homie, high school, you don't want to be that. I don't want to be that. I live every day in a way to try to prevent that. And I'm not perfect. It could happen to any of us. It could happen to me, Sean Kingston. It could happen to you if you're watching this fucking video. How do you prevent it? You try to make solid financial decisions. You try to forecast a little bit. You try to, if you get $10 out of your paycheck, you try to put at least $4 of it in your savings account. You know what I'm saying? You don't splurge, especially on things that you could forecast won't be here forever. Think about something like caffeine. How many battle rappers is running around acting like this is forever? How do you see that? Caffeine later comes out and says, man, we were never profitable. So if you was running around, whether you were the owners or whether you were the battle rappers, and you were acting like that shit is going to be here 10 years from now, that wasn't smart spending. You know what I'm saying? You save. If you want to take a little piece of what's going on and go splurge, go get you a car, go get you a house, go get you a watch, go get you I'm with all of that. I like to splurge. I like to splurge, but it's calculated splurging. You know what I'm saying? All the priorities and your future comes first. And if you don't have that type of income where you could splurge, then sit the fuck down. And I'm not talking about the splurging of today. If you're spending it today, make sure that you feel like 3 years and 5 years from now, that's going to be there as well. People fuck that up a lot. People fuck that up for a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say how many years of a run I've been on, but it's not from some of it is blessings or humbleness. Some of it is drive. Some of it is work. Some of it is intelligence. Some of it is forecasting. Some of that is just staying reserved at times and being humble. I look around, they say it's a recession. Do I feel the pain of a recession? Maybe not, but I'm still going to say, hold on. I don't know what's going to happen with the economy. I don't need to go to, Bali this summer. I'm going to fall back for a second. That type of trip might be a $15,000 trip. Instead, I'm going to go over here this summer. That right there is only an $8,000 trip. I'm going to do that instead. Fuck it. I'm blessed to still be traveling when people's complaining. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at it like that sometimes. Things is going on, chill the fuck out. Chill the fuck out, man. Or at least save a little bit and make sure that you have that pillow. That's one thing that brings about better sleep, knowing that you're not waking up to financial headaches. I could rant about that shit forever. I just hate that the internet just responded to that like, it's just like, no, there's a billion Sean Kingstons that got a scheme and got to turn towards other means 5 years, 10 years after they cooled off. It's not new news to me. You know what I'm saying? We gotta take that as learning life lessons. Tay-K. We covered this the other day briefly. The race rapper Tay-K sentenced to 80 years in prison for 2017 murder, already serving 55 years for 2016 murder. That was bugged out to me. That's what's so bugged out to me the other day. We covered it as far as, the murder versus capital murder. He got off on the capital murder, blah, blah, blah. But it was like, he's already got convictions. Like, what do you think is going to happen with this guy? And people trying to remind the internet of stuff like this. Wait, is it here? Is the video on here? No, it's not on here. I thought the video was on here. No, it's not. They brought back one of his old videos and showed the lyrics of it, of him talking about, doing the race. That they put here in quotes and I'll shoot a nigga and do this and rock. Like, it's just like, damn, these lyrics sound just like the shit that you fighting in court, B. What else is new? You know what I'm saying? So hey, man, I mean, he earned himself a very messed up situation at a very young age. I don't got too much else to cover about that. I'm gonna leave it alone. I really don't. What the hell is that in the background? KFC got a toothpaste. Who the fuck is buying that? Which one of you niggas am I gonna catch with the KFC toothpaste? I love chicken like the next man, but I don't know if I want that shit on my toothbrush. Like, on that note, man, I'm out of here. I'll see y'all later.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss making decisions, my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I drop it, connected to block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry True Podcast. Welcome to the house of and shout out to the members.
Without our, they still got a gun.